Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. So I got the Manic Genius in the building.
What up?
Wally's up in here and amazing. Casey Fred is on a hiatus doing his Easter thing, so he'll be back shortly. CLS, he's somewhere. Probably show up later and stuff with himself, usual. But all right, we'll go ahead and get started though. So let me pull up these slides, Manic, if you could read them real quick.
Yeah, I got you. Spaceman is a 2024 American science fiction drama film directed by Johan Rink and written by Colby Day. A Czech astronaut by the name of Jacob
Skip the last name.
Proshka is 6 months into a space mission to investigate a mysterious cloud of dust and particles called Chopra, lying beyond Jupiter. The Czech mission has arrived shortly before the South Korean astronauts to the post, being the first to launch to explore Chopra. Jacob struggles with loneliness and misses his wife, Lenka, who has recently stopped talking to him after he left her and their unborn daughter behind to go on the mission.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump into directors and producers. So directed by Johan Rink, written by Colby Day, produced by Michael Parents, Shannon Tatum, Reed Carolyn, Peter Kernan, Timothy Headington, Leah Bouman, and Max Silva. It's a lot of producers for a bad movie. All right, so the cast for this one was Adam Sandler as Jacob Prochazka, Carrie Mulligan as Lenka Prochazka, Jacob's pregnant wife, and Paul Dano as the voice of Hannes. That was the weird little spider thing that was eating Nutella. Kanal Nair as Peter, Isabella Rossellini as the Commissioner Tuma, and Lena Olin as Zendina. So, all right, definitely interested in seeing y'all ratings on this. So I'm gonna work all the way from the bottom and go up. Amazing. What's your what's your score for this movie?
Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute. Oh Lord. Should we just drop her?
Yeah, the Bluetooth is.
So I'll go ahead. I'll start with Wally on this one. Oh, there she goes.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
She really had to do all this.
Of course, look at this.
You'd have a prop.
Oh my God, she had to do the whole thing.
I had to have it with my rating.
You're coming in pretty low, but
yeah,
must be that cheesy spider messing up your signal.
I'll give it a 5.
Yeah, just like
5.
A 5.
All right, so she's got a 5. She's in between decent and average. All right, Wally.
So I ain't gonna lie. I actually give this a 6.5.
Wally, you tripping?
All right. You see, you ain't reading between the lines in this movie. You ain't reading between the lines in the movie. It's actually
you gotta definitely break this down because.
Oh, I will.
All right, Manic.
Yeah, I was struggling with this one too. I originally just had like a solid point, but I was just like, I after like really thinking about it, I did catch some stuff that I initially missed, so I bumped it up like a half point. So I'll give it a 1.5.
Okay, so you got it in trash territory.
Yeah,
I got this a solid 2, right in between trash and terrible. And the only reason I gave it a 2 is because I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. So I had to give him a bump up from a 1. So all right, Manny, you gotta since you're the outlier, you definitely gotta go first on this. Okay. Amazing, you was coming in a little low, so you.
I pretty much. I mean, technically, I'm the outlier. Y'all, the rest of y'all pretty much right around back in the line.
But he's definitely the lowest. So we'll start with him, and then we're gonna go to you, Wally.
Oh Lord have mercy.
See if you could bring us up. Yeah, because we definitely low on this one.
Yeah, I watched this movie late at night, and the amount of times I paused the movie just to see where we are I was 30 minutes in. I was just like, what is going on? Like, this is not exciting. This is not captivating. Like, I stayed up the whole time. I mean, midway through the movie, I went and found my nail clippers and started cutting my nails. So it was just a terrible movie. But come back to me because I want to.
Okay. All right, Wally. You got to make this sell. What did you see at a 6.5?
All right, so again, was this Adam Sandler's most best movies? Not really, but I will sit here and say this: Adam Sandler has been always on this quest to try to make the worst movie, and he still can't do it. And this is a perfect example of he still can't do it. I ain't gonna lie, like when you think about this movie, I mean, at a glance, you may think to yourself, what the freak am I watching? Like, how does this make sense? But then at the same time, when you really look at the deeper meaning in the movie, that's what sold it for me. The bigger, deeper meaning. It's like,
please explain that.
Oh, no. I will, because apparently y'all didn't really catch none of this.
I didn't. I sure didn't.
Because when you think about it, this movie, what it really showed was this dude that he was playing, that was Spaceman. He was really someone that was just looking to escape his everyday reality because of things that he went through. If you notice, like towards like I say the nice mid part of the movie, he explained his situation with his father and what his father's beliefs were, right? And then what ended up happening to him was the simple fact of him just, end up having to suffer his due diligence of speaking on what he believed, in reality just leaving. And then from there, you sort of get this idea, like at a young age, he was pretty much growing up by himself, not really knowing anything. And then when he ended up eventually finding his wife, it was to a point where now you're like, okay, you're getting this very much of someone trying to connect with you, but it's like you're not trying to really connect because of what you lost before, and you don't want to lose that again in trying to connect with someone else because you had a connection with someone before and you lost that because of of other situations. Now here you are building another connection again, and the last thing you want is to lose it. And notice the same thing when the spider was trying to connect with him, right, in that movie. He was constantly keep pulling back, and the spider was sick and tired of it. So eventually he's like, okay, you're not trying to do nothing with us. Like, there's nothing, like, we're trying to build something here, and you're disconnecting the same way. It's like, so what's the point of me trying to talk you into handling your situation when in reality you're just running away from it? So if you're going to keep running away from it, there's no point. But notice every single time you look at the connection, he constantly keeps showing that you're doing the same thing that you did with your wife, what you're doing right now in the same situation. You're constantly trying to run away from something, knowing what's good for you, even though you may end up losing it one day, however, and you don't know what to do to deal with it. That's the bigger point of this movie. For me, as far as this movie. Now, granted, because the whole mixture with the science fiction, the drama sort of complicated a little bit, but once you look past through that, it's actually pretty decent.
Okay. Manning, you buying that?
And hey, speak for yourself. If you can't read between the line, that's your fault. That's your fault.
No. I honestly, I got all of that. The only thing I'll say, like, was that I was just like, I did see, like, I caught all of that, Wally, except for, I will say, I will give you credit on the, when the spider tried to connect with him and then he pulled away. And then when the spider left and he tried to, oh, no, come back. Like, that's his personality. So, that's one, that was one dynamic that, I mean, I definitely caught, but I didn't think about it that deep. So that was something that was added. So I do appreciate that. There was definitely what you said there, but, going back to my rating, yeah, it didn't do it for me, man. It was, I thought the acting was trash. And not just with, not the other actors or actresses. I felt like the commander was, not that great. And then the main character, Adam Sandler, like, I'm a big Adam Sandler fan, like, definitely thinks he should stick to comedy and writing his movies. Cause, Uncut Gems was really good. That was surprisingly good for me. And then this movie, I was like, oh snap, it's going to be, it's Adam Sandler. Like, but now that I see that he didn't have any production in it, it's just like, oh, he was just an actor here. Like, he's not good enough to carry a movie by himself, or not this type of movie. Like this really needed like a Denzel or a Will Smith.
It by himself. He didn't carry it.
But it was trash. Like
Hey,
that's what I'm
to y'all,
saying.
it was trash. But I mean, honestly, like to the degree he carried it? No, but I think to what he did, and then to other factors of the other characters that came along inside of it, especially the movie, and then of course you got the chick part. It was a nice, decent blend in some form.
I thought his wife did a good job. Like her character was very believable, and like she was fed up, always trying, and then so she had range of emotion. She had this excited, like, hey, let me show you this. Like, she had her highs and lows. Like,
yeah,
he was just meh the whole time. Even when he was like, oh my God, baby, if I had things to do over again, it was still like, it was still like the range is like, hey, you almost lost your life and you're just on the phone. Yeah. If I had to do over again, I would do things differently. Like what? I needed tears. I needed like a pause where he's just like, I'm just so glad to hear your voice. Like I needed emotion from Adam Sandler. Like he didn't do it for me.
I get it. But think about it. This is a guy that has abandonment issues, so he's not really going to show all those. Like you got to think a little bit of some logic there.
I understand that, but like if he's a dynamic character. That's how the whole movie was set up. The movie was set up for him to change. The movie was set up for him to realize, what he's been missing out on. So even though he has abandonment issues, he has to show that range because he went from being like, I don't care about anything. Like, I'm going on a mission. She'll be here to like, oh my God, I actually really do miss her. Like that's a big change. So his emotions should reflect that. Even if you have abandonment issues, I think he should have cried even more. He should have been boo-hooing because it's like, that would have showed like, oh, okay. His character matched his whole demeanor change from the very beginning of the movie to the end, because the whole plot of the movie was so basic. It was like, you could summarize the movie in like one sentence. Don't take for granted what you have. That's the whole plot. And they wasted almost 2 hours doing that.
So you did understand what the movie was about.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I said it was trash. Because I'm like, why did we have to? This whole movie could have been a short, and they would have got everything in there, like minus the spider. Like the only reason I wanted to give it a 1, but I gave it a 0.5 because the special effects for the spider were pretty dope. That was it.
But, Lord have mercy.
Like the spider wasn't real. And I know it wasn't real because he had a dream and the spider was in his body coming in and out. And then it was a small little thing. And then he wakes up from his dream and the spider is there. It's a real thing. And it's like talking to him and stuff like that. But the spider could never communicate with anybody else. When he was talking to the dude, he was like, hey, who are you talking to? Oh, it's nothing. So the spider wasn't even real.
Subconscious.
The spider wasn't self-conscious, but like that was just such a trash.
And that's what sort of makes it a little bit better for me, because honestly, it's creative, but it's just not. It's not straightforward creative. It's a little bit like it's taking you on a trip of how do these things mix, but there's some formality that it mix.
Yeah, he's a lonely weirdo who just like, was eating Nutella all day. Like, there's no coincidence that the spider loves Nutella. Like, he loves Nutella. Like, that's the only thing we see my man eat, and these little hallucinogenic drops to like keep his mind sane. But he overdid that when he was like, "Oh man, I think I'm losing it. Let me drink a whole bunch of this stuff." And then he saw the full blown spider, and it's like, yeah, he could have took more drops, and he probably would have. The whole ship would have turned into a spider, and he would have. And that would have been my maybe interesting movie, but shit was trash.
All right, let me get amazing in there. So amazing. Why did you give this a 5?
I had originally also planned on giving it a very low score. This is another one. I fell asleep. The hope I had is the first time I tried to watch it, fell asleep. But I woke up when the spider was like coming out his face, and it caught my attention because I was like, "Ooh, did we get a horror movie this time?" Because I like horror movies. Oh my gosh, I was so disappointed.
Oh, of course.
It was not a horror movie. And I had to continue. So obviously I fell back asleep. And I was thinking, I don't even know if I can get through this one to give it an actual review. But the saving grace was I had to commute. And so I was like, let me go ahead and listen to this on my ride, take a little break from my book. So being able to listen to it, that's when I was like, okay, it actually has a good message. And that's why I bumped it up to the 5. Now when Manic was just describing some of the stuff regarding like the size of the spider, I didn't even realize there's a difference again because I wasn't watching, I was listening. So I really didn't get those pieces. I would try to glance down every now and again, but that's the only reason I went up from where I thought was going to be a 2-ish to the 5 was because I was just able to listen to it only, and I thought it was a good message.
Of course, you'll like the message.
I mean, but that's what these movies tend to sell, message, right?
Yeah. So you gave it a 2. Why'd you give it a 2? Because you're not far from me. Outlier, you're not far from me.
No, you're talking about Jerk?
Yeah, I'm talking about Jerk.
Yeah, this was honestly, it was hard to watch because like we tried to watch it over the weekend. Man, I just couldn't get into it. I was like, all right, I had to watch it in like 30-minute segments. Because you remember, even when I talked to you, man, you were like, hey, man, you got to finish the rest. I'm like, oh,
yes, we can talk about it.
And then finally I got through it. So it was like Wally, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't pick up the message because I was just so tuned out. I just saw the spider and I'm like, I caught it towards the end where it's just like, man, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just to add to what you're saying, I can get exactly like if most people were to watch this, I guarantee you most people would never get the message because they're looking at it like, because it's science fiction and drama. Like, how do you mix two things that really don't mesh well together? Because so it's like you eventually miss out the whole thing. Because more likely so, you're gonna pay attention more to the science fictional factor of it all, and it's like, well, how did this happen, and why is this happening?
That's probably what happened to me.
And then eventually you just get blindsided by the actual bigger picture, which is the drama part that they're really just selling in this whole thing. Because that's really what they sold in this. They really didn't sell the science fiction. Like they sold science fiction, but not to the degree of how they really sold the drama in this. Like this is more drama and then science fiction, not science fiction and drama.
Yeah, because that matter of fact, that makes sense. And that's probably why I didn't like it, because I was expecting something to like heighten up, like some aliens, or they're gonna run into some life form. And it was just so flat all the way through. Like he said, like I'm a big Adam Sandler, but his character seemed like he was just burnt out. You know how people, what's that, like monotone, and they just go all the way. So
yeah.
Then the spider had like a monotone type of thing, and the conversation between them was just so like basic and irrelevant. So yeah, this was like simping in space, because he started having all those regrets and stuff. So yeah, I'm just like, man, yeah, man, it was just stop this. Yeah, I couldn't get into it. So I was just hoping like something was going to pick up. And then at the end, yeah, that's when they started floating every damn where. And my man was still eating Nutella, life on the line. So I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I was just waiting for this movie to be over, the credits to roll so I could stop watching this. Yeah, it was rough. But all right, we'll go ahead and jump into the questions. All right. So would you recommend this movie to anyone, and would you watch this again? I'll kick it off. No, for me, I would not recommend it, or I would not watch this again. Manic.
I'm going to go with a yes and yes. I would recommend this to my enemies and people studying film, because I would say this is exactly how not to make a film.
Lord have mercy.
And I'd have a whole discussion of like why this is a terrible movie. So I actually recommend people watch it because it is terrible. Like, and I know they spent money on it because the special effects were good. Like the special effects were pretty dope. That's why I gave it the 0.5, because it's like somebody actually did work. Like somebody did a good job. Like they spent money for multiple people to do really good. It's just that the storyline was terrible. So would I watch it again? Absolutely, because it's so slow and like you're not going to pay attention to it. If I'm chilling with somebody that I don't want to watch a movie, I'll put that on like I'm going to watch a movie, and we'll just be like mostly talking throughout the whole movie, and we won't miss anything.
You're gonna pull a switcheroo.
It's yeah. So I'm like, yeah, let's watch this movie. You should come over. There's this new Netflix movie.
So that's Spaceman. On sarcasm.
This is going to go on my to watch movie list. Like If ever I have somebody coming over and
Oh, they're gonna jump in your bed.
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
Like, can we just
So
stop the movie? Like, let's go to the
Right,
room
like-
already.
yes, 30 minutes into the movie, nothing has happened, nothing exciting has happened. Like, hey, you want to be more comfortable? I got a TV in my room too. It's 85-inch OLED. We can watch it in here.
So, all right, Wally, would you recommend this movie to anyone, and would you watch this movie again?
Y'all horrible. That's so horrible. Look, I will say this though, just to be fair, right? When I watched this movie, at the time that I watched it, I did speed it up because I didn't love it being so slow. Like, no, seriously. No, seriously. I'm being honest. Because I like again.
Wally cheated.
No, I'm being so serious. I didn't get again, looking at it from the first time, it was like, what the frick is this? But like I said, when you get down to it and you really pick off the points, then it's like, okay, cool. But nonetheless, yes, I did speed this bad boy up because I
should have done that.
I did speed this up
because I had damn right. I had to.
I probably would have gave it a 3 then if I would have spent
think
it.
about it, he's literally in space. Like there's no movement, there's nothing. Like there's no rhythm. Like come on, bro. Like all I'm getting is just visual like memories, and that's all cool and all, but that's just not enough for me. Like at this point, especially if I'm focused on the main character and all you have him do is in space. Like you didn't even let him go outside, as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm just like, okay, just for what this is, yeah. But nonetheless, would I recommend this to somebody? Yes, I would. And I would also recommend that you put it in 2x because you might want to watch this more faster than ever, just so then you don't feel like you're just watching some slow-ish, because you feel like this is gonna literally put you to sleep. Because I ain't gonna lie, this might put you to sleep, as most people said already. And as far as will I watch it again? Yeah, if I have a slow day and I'm bored, yeah, I'm willing to watch it again. Knowing that this time around I'll watch it slowly because I actually have time to actually watch it slowly.
Wally, I'll pay you not to watch this.
I would pay him to watch it.
Yeah.
I would pay Wally to watch it again at regular speed the whole thing.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to though, because like when I actually do my own reviews of this stuff, like I'll watch this again for sure.
Okay.
I'll watch it again.
Let me know if you do another review. I'll pull up and give you a super chat.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I will pay you for your
Let
time.
me know. I'll follow you on IG. I follow you on IG. Let me know when you review this movie again. I will super chat you.
Trust me. Hey, look.
What the hell are you gonna review about this?
What I'm gonna do it?
No, I'm just saying, like, you're gonna be like, yeah, man. Well, he went through space. He talked to a spider. He floated a little bit, and the credits rolled.
A little bit. Took some drugs that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. When are we your practice round, Wally?
Yeah.
And look, I'm gonna be honest with you, but look, like my time being here, it's actually nice practice to actually do it for myself. So eventually, when I do this, I'll just be like, all right, cool. My thing is like I won't do it the same way, but I'll do it into a way where like, okay, like this movie, whoopty woo. These are some moments in the movie. Voila, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get a nice look, you know.
That's actually smart.
No, it is.
Polish your work here.
Hopefully, you don't fall asleep to your own review.
No, listen, I'm gonna be
like,
able to. I'm gonna take notes and be like, here's all my notes on every part of this. Because I had to watch this 2 speed for the first time because I wasn't gonna waste my time on that. For what? This was like 108 minutes, so that's like 60. So this is an hour and 48, and it was this slow. Like,
Wally, I love your energy and stuff. I think you might, man, you're just like a depth of knowledge. Man, you got a great energy. I think you should skip this one.
Hey, no. Like I said, this was
as a friend, Wally, I think you should skip this one, man.
I think you should do it.
I'm gonna do it. No. I'm gonna bake off that and keep his word.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm sending you a cash app. You do this one, boy. You gotta get paid for that.
You gonna get paid to do this one.
I'm gonna catch y'all then. I'm gonna catch y'all.
But all right, amazing. Would you recommend this to anyone, and would you watch this again?
I would recommend people that want to get a good message to listen to it, because I don't think you will get the message if you watch it the first time around. And I would recommend people who want to send a subliminal message to their partners to have them watch it, like recommend it to somebody. Because I feel like you could be like, hey, watch this movie. And it's really sending like a subliminal message to them.
What's the subliminal message, that you hate them?
Like priorities. It's about priorities.
No, I'm just playing.
And taking for
Yeah,
granted.
that is.
I knew what you were talking
your
about.
priorities.
I know the message. You know what the message is? Wives complaining.
That it could be either. It could be like, it could be a husband too. Like it could be anybody.
Here he is trying to push the limits of space, and she's like, "Oh,
For mankind, the first."
Yeah.
She complaining.
But, I mean, regardless, like if you were anybody who recommended this movie to somebody, I think that other person would be like thinking, like, why do they recommend this to me? Because it's going to be like, they're obviously going to think you're trying to give them a message, because I don't think they would think like, oh, they thought this movie was great. Like they're going to think that, oh, they was trying to tell me something. If they actually,
you know what? Here's another message. Don't make empty promises. That's another one.
Sending the messages. Sending the messages. Would I watch it again?
No.
I kind of feel like I forget that you can fast forward movies or make them go at a faster speed. Maybe now that I listen to it and I like the message, I could potentially try it again using Wally's routine of speeding it up. There's no way I could watch that again at normal cycle.
You know how terrible this movie was?
You'll be,
and I gotta tell
save your
y'all,
life speeding it up. I'm not gonna lie to you. You'll save your life speeding it up.
This
It
is
was
how
actually
bad.
more enjoyable. I just love.
This is how bad the movie was. Amazing was trying to start a fight with me, and she was like, "I'm not going to be on the show Thursday," just so she didn't have to watch this movie. I was like, "You ain't slick. You better watch that shit." She was like, oh, I'm not gonna do it no more. I was like, hey, nice try. Go watch that shit. Yeah. What'd you say? Like, I wasted 2 hours of my life. You're watching it too.
Hell no.
Because I kept throwing. I was like, hey, did you watch that yet? She was like, oh well. She's like, I might have the work late on Thursday. I was like, no.
Okay. Yeah. You ain't slick. I know your work schedule. You been bringing behind on.
It's like, I'm gonna call your boss.
I did watch the new Insidious. I can recommend that. I watched that.
Yeah.
Is that on Netflix?
Yep.
Oh, I found something.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm gonna put it on the list
by myself.
But all right, what did you think about the plot of the storyline? And we'll start with Amazing on that.
I thought the overall plot was good. I thought the storyline was way too clunky and way too long. But I honestly I remember you asking about it and only seeing again in and out of my sleep and knowing the whole entire plot. So I do think I thought it was a waste of a good message. It was a good message, but the whole everything about it just kind of took away from it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Wally, what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
Yeah, pretty much I have to agree with Amazing. Again, this idea of the science fiction mixed with the drama was a little bit of a stretch, and by little I mean a whole lot of a stretch, because again, you watch this, you're gonna miss everything that this movie was intending for. You will literally miss it. You will, because I almost did. But ultimately, all in all, the plot, the storyline was good for what it was. It just, the two elements of this just was a little bit not cohesive together. It was adhesive enough to know, the simple fact that, yes, he was in space and she was on Earth, and it's like, y'all having y'all relationship at a distance and at a glance. And it was like, hey, this is okay where we're at, but reality, it's not. Because it's on one side, you're making it seem like, okay, well, technically, this is the deal, right? The deal was wherever I go, you go, where you go, I go. But the thing is, it's at a distance. and you're missing out on a bigger importance than what you believe is right now, just so you can keep yourself in distance because of your simple fact of, your issues. But other than that, like I said, it's great for what it is. It's just the elements just didn't really clash well the way you wanted it to.
All right, Manic Genius, what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
I thought plot very basic at the surface level. Don't take things for granted. Storyline was trash because it was just it was a lot of nothing going on for the most part. But there were three points that I took away from the plot. The first point was, and we all addressed it, don't take shit for granted. The second point that I took from the plot was, if you take enough drugs, you can eventually speak to a spider. And the third point is, like, as a man, you got to climb to the top. Like, you gotta be ambitious. You gotta keep grinding, because even the character, what the fuck was his name?
Gerard or something like that.
It's like Dunka or something. What was Adam Sandler's character, the main character?
Yeah, Gerard or something.
Jacob.
Like that.
Jacob.
Okay, Jacob. Okay.
I hate the spelling of the names. That's what fucked me up.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying Gerard.
Yeah. So you, as a man, you got to climb to the top and be ambitious, because even the personality of Jacob, even he pulled something. Like, there was nothing special about his personality. There was nothing special about how they met, and how him and his wife met together. They went to a party. He was dressed as a spaceman and fell, and then hey, let me help you up. And then from that party, she took him to an isolated location, and then they shared the special moments, and it's just like, that would never happen with a guy with a personality like that. So the only way that happens is if she's a groupie and she knows that he's this famous spaceman, famous astronaut. So it's just like, as a man, you can have absolutely no personality and still pull a bad joint, because Linka wasn't bad looking, like, definitely out of his league for his personality. So it must be the money or the clout. So
what did I think about the plot of the storyline? I think, like what you guys said, the regret stuff, and I actually like the plot and the storyline. I just think the movie carried on too long with a lot of like blank spaces that didn't really kind of make no sense, and I think that's what messed it up. Because it was just long and it just drug on. But I do like what Manic said, where it's just like, I didn't really care too much about the regret stuff. But it reminded me of like these the dating spaces where they be like, I want a guy that's ambitious. It's like, no, you don't.
So ambitious, went to space.
Yeah. So I did like that whole component where it's just like, she's like, I'm about to leave. He's on he's getting those like TV type interviews, people asking him questions. That'd be like Neil Armstrong, with on his like feats and stuff, and somebody's like, "Oh my God, I'm about to leave." So yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't like the ambition no more now that you're gone and stuff. So I kind of like how they capture that. But yeah, other than that, the movie was just too long. But all right, we'll go ahead and jump into the next question. This is, what scenes are actress performances stuck out? And I'll go to you first, Manic.
The first one, I spoke on the scene where they show where they first meet. That stuck out because it's just like, okay, she really pulled him. So it's just like, for a woman to pull somebody, it's usually like, hey, it's not like it's Adam Sandler. It's not like it's what is it, like Antonio Banderas or something like. It's not like it's one of those like, or it's not like it's George Clooney or something like that. It's Adam Sandler. So she pulled him based off of obviously his job title and his clout, his fame, whatever. So that stuck out because it's like, okay, that's how they met. She's a groupie essentially. That stuck out. The other scene that stuck out was his drowning scene, because they try to make it seem like he was a kid, like he looked like he was an older teenager, and then he was like drowning, and then his dad comes and saves him. And then it's just like, you see the connection, like, even though and they explain like his dad was like a terrible person when it came to like communism and stuff, like he's on the wrong side of history, torturing people, but it showed the compassion that he had towards his son. Like, hey, even though I'm a terrible person, like, seeing my son like almost drowning, like it was like broken his heart. And like that acting was great because you saw that guy who's this hard guy, his dad, you know, showing emotion and like, hey son, are you okay and stuff. And then you saw the bond that the father and son had. That scene stuck out. And it stuck out for two reasons. That scene, that connection, and then it also stuck out because he wasn't a little kid when he was drowning. He was a big ass like teenager. And it's just like, how do you drown in a lake that like what were you doing in the lake and you can't swim? Like he wasn't on a boat or anything like that. He just happened to be randomly. And then his dad comes and pulls him out and like walks him out of there. And I'm just like, did he drown in like water that was like waist deep? Because it didn't show him swimming out and pulling him back. And it just showed him like he's drowning. And his dad picks him up and like walks him out. It's just like, yo, my man might be a different level of slow. And that would make sense, you know, why he, you know, is the way he is. Like maybe he had like a disability of some sort. So that scene stuck out. All the scenes where obviously when the spider popped up, I was like, oh, is this a real spider or is this his self-conscious? And then I had to think about the scene prior to that where he saw the spider crawling around in his brain and about to come out of his mouth, and he woke up because it was a dream after taking that drug thing that he was given to not feel so lonely. And then it showed him like, hey, after he had that thing, he was like, the next night, he was like, I'm a OD on this. I'm gonna put a lot more. And then he put a lot more, and then he saw the actual spider and was like, oh shit, there's a spider in here. And then he went back to bed and like really OD'd on it. And then the spider stayed there. And it's just like, it's like you shouldn't take drugs. Don't take drugs, kids. Like, especially don't do it alone. Like
in space.
Alone in space. Yeah. No one can resuscitate you. Like, why would they even allow him to have that? Like, that wouldn't even be like and there was a lot of scenes. He had like the old phone, old equipment. The fact that it was the Czech Republic, they're going to be the first ones in space, and it was South Korea, it was second. Like, they ain't got money like that. Like, they ain't going to spend on no nuclear program. We got Elon Musk over here, SpaceX, trying to explore Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Elon would have been the first one. Elon personally would have been the first one in there. They should have got. Wait, I'll save that for what I would change. But yeah.
But all right, let me get Wally in there. So
right.
Wally, what scenes or actress performances stuck out?
Actress and actresses, definitely the woman that played Linka, the person that played the spider. Yeah, pretty much those are the top two as far as the actors and actresses. Adam's character was still just weird for me, but he played his part for what it is, because of course, just the issue that he has. So yeah, nonetheless. But as far as like scenes though, yeah, pretty much a lot of the bigger scenes in here, which is actually what helped this movie be what it is in more cases, not for me and my score, was literally just like just him going back into his memories and his feedbacks of his mind. Like those really were those top scenes, because that what really made the movie. Everything else, as far as being in space, that was just filler. So, but those memories were those were the top scenes constantly. Other than that, I think one of the like pretty much the two scenes when they interacted with the wife, I think those were the other ones too. Like when the woman interacted with the woman, when the woman that was of the space crew came to go meet her up just to, give her just to help her understand just a little bit of what the situation is. And then of course you got the guy delivering the phone just so he can speak to his woman about, his regrets. I think those were out of that movie. That was just pretty much the top things right there.
Oh, okay.
And I think that one moment with the spider, when they bonded.
All right, amazing.
I was trying to get close to the computer since I'm using its audio. The scenes that stuck out to me were primarily, I agree with the ambition. However, I do think there's like the spider said, I forgot the exact thing he said, but it was something about like he may have even used the word ambition. I don't remember, but basically, you're doing all of this to your own detriment. When he was on the treadmill and he was like, why do you run, or why do you do this? And he was like, I have to do it 2 hours a day, otherwise my bones will deteriorate. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, you're doing all this for the detriment of yourself, just basically to have clout. Like, your, you know, with all this stuff with your family, your wife, your own health. So I do think that there's just a balance there. So I thought that was a good scene. And I thought it expanded on it when it showed like the wife had lost their first baby, and I don't think he was there. I don't think he was there when that happened. But then for her to be pregnant again,
he wasn't there.
Yeah, so I just thought they showed the extreme of where I kind of felt like, okay, this is on a whole new level of more than just ambition. Where, you know, if I can't imagine like if your spouse lost the baby and the husband was like, okay, I'm going on this another year-round mission. Like, what? And he didn't even go home in the meantime. So, and it wasn't even like, it looked like it was like late in the pregnancy. Not that that should matter, but anyways, so those were the scenes that stuck out for me. And then the last one that I can think of was when his lady coworker, supervisor, I'm not sure who she was, but when she intercepted the message of the wife basically leaving the husband, and she was like, this is a bad state, you can't wait 6 months to do this. I thought that was a fair request where it would be like, after all of this, you're gonna leave them, you know, at like the worst time ever. I did feel like you could have waited 6 months, but that scene just stuck out to me. So those are the two I had.
Yeah, I think the scene that stuck out for me was definitely the one amazing when you're talking about where he was talking to her and he was like, hey, I got an emergency. My man was cooking like an egg sandwich. That was pretty funny. My man was like, look, I got an emergency, I gotta go. Did it show the eggs like cooking? He was like, shh. Yeah, so that scene, I like the last scene, you know, because it was like I knew it was coming to an end when he was like traveling outside during the space. So I thought that was a pretty good like segment where he was going through that like whole cloud and stuff. So I did like that. Like Manning said, the special effects was tough in this. As far as performances that stuck out, I think the cloud probably had the best like performance. So, yeah, other than that, his character was just too flat. But you guys did say something like I might end up bumping it up because I was just listening to what you guys were saying. So do y'all think like maybe when he was going into the lake, Manic, when you were saying, and then you know, definitely taking the drugs on her, like he was low key like trying to detach himself, like he was just kind of going through life, like trying to delete himself pretty much. That's what I'm getting now. Cause even when he like went out the ship, it kind of seems and it matches his character now. Like he just was like through with life somewhat.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that. That is an interesting point.
Cause I didn't catch it until you guys said it. And I was just like, damn, like when he was like in that lake.
Maybe he was suicidal. Yeah, maybe he was trying to kill himself.
I actually thought that lake.
Well, I wouldn't say suicidal though.
See,
deletion.
Oh, deletion, my bad.
I didn't know.
Self-delete.
Yeah.
What was you saying, Amazing?
I thought, again, I was listening to it, but I thought the lake scene was a self-deletion move. That's what I thought that scene was.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I wasn't watching, I was listening, but that's what I thought he was doing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because now that I'm thinking about those like major points, like the drugs and stuff, and then even like leaving the ship, true. It's like he just kind of gave up and was ready to go. But then I guess like thinking about everything, that's probably where he's just like started enjoying life again. Like, you know what, man, it's not that bad. I need to. Wally was on to something, man.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to like if you're having your own internal struggles, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, here's this top astronaut who's like, you know, supposed to be like this hero basically of his country. But if he's internally very low, it doesn't really matter what's happening externally.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, now that y'all mentioned that, like it definitely seems like he was battling depression, which means that he would have never even passed the psych eval to be that person to represent the whatchamacallit. So that part falls on itself, but that's a director flaw.
Not necessarily, you know, if they was desperate to like kind of move past, they might have been like, look, let it
He
go,
the only
because
one
you
that
got to
would
be
do it.
kind of somewhat, like in a different mindset to take those lone type of missions by yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I also kind of feel for people, and I don't want to offend anybody if anybody's failed some of those behavioral tests. It kind of makes me wonder, like, what did you answer exactly? Because I feel like even when I think the answer in my head, like, oh, this is what I think, I'm not really going to choose that one. Like, I'm going to tell you the answer I know you want.
so you're a liar. That's what you're saying.
I'm a critical thinker.
There you go.
You can dress it up any way you want to.
Nice masking.
But let's go ahead and jump to the fourth question. If you were the director or the producer of this movie, what would you change or do differently? And I'll start with you, Amazing.
I would have to change either the message and the scenery, or the scenery to a different message. So something I feel like needs a complete change.
So you said damn near the whole damn movie, huh?
Different scenario. Yeah.
Like half the movie's gonna have to go.
I would not mesh the way the message was with the alien spider space mission. It just like threw you so off. I felt like that took away. I thought the scenery, I don't know what that would be called. I just thought it took away from the message because you were so focused on like the weirdness happening.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. All right, Wally, if you were the director or producer of this movie, what would you change or do differently?
This is very simple. A, drop the science fiction. That's the first one I would do. B, instead of the spider, you try to get someone that closely resembles the younger version of Jacob, as far as, Adam Sandler in a younger version form, and that be his conscience that he talks to every single time, where he helps him try to get through what he's trying to get through. So that would be more better for the sake of the drama. And just take away the whole science fiction part and just keep the drama part and keep this on Earth to at least let this movie be a little bit more faster and not as long. And just fold it out like that. Like, let him be his own psychiatrist in his own mind. Because he's literally on that wave path of that mindset a little bit.
I like that. All right, Manic.
I actually like Wally's change.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Because it would be less confusing, and it would be the spider really didn't add anything except for like give some audiences who didn't make the connection that it was like his conscience really. If I were the director of this movie, I think I probably would change would be get rid of Adam Sandler. I think he's good for like when I saw Spaceman and I saw Adam Sandler was the actor, I was like, oh man, Adam Sandler been on fire. Like, he makes great comedies. He has classic comedies. And then even when he's directing movies and producing movies, like they're pretty solid. Like I forget the one before Uncut Gems, but that was pretty good. He's coming off of like, he's coming off of Uncut Gems, which was like a super underrated movie in my opinion, because it had like a great beginning, middle, and end. It wasn't all flowers and roses. It was like, yo, this could really happen. I would have got rid of Adam Sandler because he, for me, couldn't carry this movie. I think an actor that has like more depth in their range of emotions and stuff like that, like and like literally you'd have to get like a Denzel type. I would even think the dude Lakeith Idris Elba, like you could get like so many different actors, but like people who are really established who have done movies like this, like solo movies, like Will Smith, like not the biggest fan of him nowadays, but he did do I Am Legend. He did that well. So he can carry movies completely by himself. Tom Hanks, they can carry movies completely by themselves. You can just put a camera in front of them and just let them go. And, they've been acting for so long that they can pull things out of nothing. So it's just like they needed an actor like that. So, Adam Sandler's a great big name, just as big as all the people I mentioned. But as far as acting skill and ability, it kind of exposed him in this movie.
Do you think like the expectation for him to kind of be humorous might have threw you off a little bit?
Yeah, that too. That was another thing that I did factor in, because I thought he was going to add a little bit of humor, and it was none. And I'm okay with that, because one of my favorite actors is Ben Stiller, and The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, whatever. I'm expecting Ben Stiller to be a comedian, and he was not a comedian in that movie. And the movie was perfectly fine. But then again, Ben Stiller is an actor. He's been acting his entire career. So it's just like, if he wants to get serious, he can. Just like Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson like does comedy and he can do drama, because these guys are actors. Like, they're legit actors. They're not comedians who like kind of, jump in and out. Like, these guys do all type of movies, and like, it just, there's levels to this. There's levels to everything in life. And I just don't think that Adam Sandler should have tried to pull this movie off at this point in his career. Like, maybe a movie where he's like a 2-person, like work his way up to like a solo movie like this. And then you have some actors who are just really good that can just probably pull it off. Like, I think even Michael B. Jordan could have pulled this off, as just a solo actor.
You tripping.
I think he could have, just because I've seen him go through ranges of emotions that's just like unexpected. It's like, oh wow, and Michael B. Jordan's been acting since he was a kid too, so it's just like that experience.
No, I think the role was just flat.
Because the role was flat for sure.
Yeah, that's what I think it was, man. Because he just had no expression, so that's what it was. This weird character, man, for a very flat movie, no action. And then, like Wally said, it was just up in space. So sorry to cut in, but
yeah,
was you good on your changes?
Yeah, that was it. That probably my biggest change. Just switch out the actor and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think like a no-name actor in this movie, I think would have been like an up-and-comer, for like they use for independent movies. I think that probably would have been better, because I think when you have like established actors, I think
there's expectation.
There's an expectation, like, oh, okay, there's some comedy, or I
would agree with that.
Some established ones. Like, there's gonna be some action.
Because let me throw this in here. Because when you really think about a lot of the names in this movie, you look at them, you'd be like, none of these people are familiar other than Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm like, in this sense, like, I get it, like you're saying, like he didn't carry, but it's like when you really look at it, it's like, well, did he not carry though? Because without Adam Sandler, you don't know no one else on here. I mean, once again, Linka was good.
Yeah,
as far as the wife,
good.
Right? And
the dad was good too, though.
And even the spider, because even the spider.
Yeah,
but that's my whole thing. It's like, but when you take it away, it's like, okay, well, the spider is good because he's literally giving him his conflict resolution, but he's not taking it in. And then the Linka's good because she's being the typical wife that is drained from the relationship overall because of the situation at hand. And it's like, so it's like
Linka was actually draining him
as much. Yeah. Well, hey, one way or the other.
I think Linka.
You, Wally. You're on point. Keep going.
Yeah. But my thing is, when you really look at it, I think ultimately with Adam is like, for his character, I think you pretty much spot on, right? I think you would want to change his character. I think you would want to change the person that plays that role, because when you look at Adam, you think he'll be a little bit more intuitive with the movie than he was as this character, because this character just feels vacantly dry. Like he was the person, like he was so zoned out, you couldn't phase him into that tier of just bringing out and dropping on his knees, breaking in tears. Like, because that's his character. Like, his character is unbreakable, even though he is broken. So, you got to look at it in different ways, because I think with his character, his emotion is there. The only thing is you're just not seeing the actual physical emotion.
But like you said,
you got to think about that. Like, because think about it. I think when you think about just everyday men, do men have to cry to really show you that they are broken? Most cases, no. They can tell you they're broken just by you just looking at them, because they're just drained. And that's what he is.
Yeah, he definitely looked drained.
Yeah, he did.
The whole
That's what I'm
movie.
saying. But if one change, I like kind of like what you were saying, Wally. But instead of the spider, and even maybe the little kid, except if it was the one that was like in a lake, that version, I think they should have had like different versions of people instead of the spider. Would have been like his wife up there, maybe his
Oh,
dad.
that would have been dope.
So like towards the end, you know, like the wife comes up there and then he just jumps the hell out the ship. And I think like going through that whole process and stuff, like I would have liked if he just was like, you know what, I really don't regret anything. And then, you know, they show him like landing back on Earth. He's got like 2 chicks. He done moved on. He's drinking champagne. He's all excited. So I would have loved to see that ending. But nah, I think it would have been dope if they would have had like different versions of like his conscience on there, like the wife kind of like guilt going in on him, the dad
exposing
and,
different aspects of his character.
Yeah. And his like flaws and stuff. So I would have liked that. And then shorten the movie a little bit. Because I think if it wasn't so long, then it would have hit more where, because it was just too drawn out in a lot of those spaces. But if they were going for that kind of like depressed type person that was like giving up on life, then I do like it a little better now. Because I didn't think about it until you guys started hitting some points. And I was like, oh, okay,
I just want to say one more point. And
right,
Amazing brought it up from one of her scenes. She was the scene that where she lost the first baby. That was definitely a scene that stuck out. And it was sad and tragic, but it kind of shows you who Linka is. Like she's definitely a gold digger and securing that bag because, you know, she saw he wasn't shit, you know, when it came to like raising a child with her. The first time around, because he was just absent, wasn't there. And then she turned around and instead of being like, oh, I'm sure she was very sad about it, of course. But then she turned around and gave him another baby only to just leave him. It's just like he didn't change. Like he didn't change then, but she said, you know what? I got to secure that bag first. Like, let me get pregnant by him again.
Loyalty and
yeah. Oh, you know what?
No, she's like, let me secure. She like, let me secure that bag, and then now I can leave him because you know.
Well, he was making a lot of broken promises too, though.
Yeah,
wasn't he keep on he kept on pushing it off like, oh, let me take one more mission.
That showed her love and dedication to that dude. That kept.
I'm kind of with Manic on that though.
Yeah,
she had bad discernment.
Manic, sophisticated, manic, and sophisticated that commentary doesn't reflect on me.
Yeah, Manic wilded on that one.
All my opinions are my own, but like, yo, she literally secured the bag and then was just like, okay, now I got my baby. I made it past the 3rd trimester. This is looking good. I can leave him now.
Oh man! Well,
jokes on him. Child support
in that movie. Like I ain't gonna lie, that moment right there when they mentioned it, I would expect there would be a shift. Like if someone tell you like they had a baby, you had a kid, you lost a kid, you're thinking about going to space again. And then
especially for them long missions.
Yeah.
Nah, that.
But she knew she knew who she was dealing with. Like it wasn't like they were married for like 1 year and then like she didn't really know. Like this guy's been consistent.
Oh, we don't even know how much years they've been locked in. That's the thing too. Like because
they said it.
They did. What? How?
I think it was like 7 or I think it was like 7.
Know, probably my fault because again, I hit it like 2 ticks, so I probably.
Yeah, I watched the movie. I watched the movie in regular speed, and I stayed up. I made sure I was attentive. Yeah,
you was attentive, but you couldn't read between the lines.
I felt the 7 years. Yeah.
So let me ask you real quick, Manic. So do you feel like she was a little jealous of his like accolades, his status and stuff? You think that could have been a component?
I don't even think so because she never shied away from him being an astronaut. She called him Spaceman and stuff like that. So she leaned into it from the very first time she met him. So it was just like, it's like, when women address you as like your title, instead of like, hey, your character, your qualities, it's like, hey, they kind of tell you what they're in it for, like subliminally. She kept calling him Spaceman and stuff like that. Like that's who he represents to her.
So what if the title is like a negative?
Well, if the title was negative, then I honestly don't think she would even given him the light of day. Because his personality sucks.
I'm talking about the title, the name above you.
What's that?
The jerk.
The jerk. What about him?
Say his title when he said when we address people by their title. We say
Well, no,
the
when I say
jerk,
their title,
the
like space.
genius,
Well, no, no.
Wally, and
But that's
amazing.
hold on, no, that's not our title. That's our names in this like fictitious internet space for like so nobody tries to like really look myself up and like people do all types of weird stuff on the internet. So
Yeah,
it's just like I don't.
this is my Wally is really just it's just the
This is the persona.
Persona. There it
But
is.
like my
Brothers.
title, like if I was if I met a woman and I told her, hey, I do this for work, and then she's constantly addressing me as my title, like, oh, you're let's say I'm not no ambassador or anything. Like, let's say I'm the ambassador of Go Fuckistan. If a woman that I met is like, oh, he's the ambassador, hey ambassador, look at my ambassador. It's like she's highlighting the thing that she's most proud of about me. Versus if I was a regular guy,
work title shouldn't be the title.
Yeah, that's my point. I agree with you. Your work title shouldn't be like, but that's how she addressed her man, Spaceman. Like,
but we do know, like our titles are usually.
It was loving. It was
Yeah.
like
it wasn't loving. Man didn't get spot on. It was like Marilyn Monroe. Hey, Mr. President. That type of shit.
Yeah.
It was lust and fuckery. That's what it was.
It had a loving connotation to it, but the underlying is like, hey, I see you as your title first. That's what attracts me to you. Yeah. And she showed it when she was like, she lost a baby and like he wasn't shit. And then she's like, I gotta have another one. Okay, now that I have another one,
she was like, I still love him. Let me try again.
Is it love or is it like she's solidifying her
I think it was manipulation, if I gotta be honest.
Oh Lord. Let's move on to the next question.
But all right, now that we heard everybody's perspectives, would you change your score or stay the same? And I'll start with you, Amazing.
I'm gonna stay the same.
Okay, so you're staying at a 5 between decent and average. Wally.
Well, sorry. I'll do 4.5. I did struggle with it. It was a good message, but I did struggle. We'll say 4.5. Decent.
Okay. So you're in decent territory. You don't drop down. Okay, Wally. You staying, going up, down?
Part of me wants to even I ain't gonna lie. Part of me actually wants to go up, but then it's like, nah, I'm gonna stay at 6.5.
Okay. All right, Manic Genius.
I'm going up. I'm going up by a whole point. I'm giving it a 2.5. I think both Wally and Amazing made some very interesting points and things that
I said you said Wally and Amazing?
Yeah.
Did I like tap out or something?
Yeah.
Did I disconnect from the live or some shit?
No, they made some interesting points to raise it. Like, I think your points make sure that I'm still like it level set. Okay. Yeah, like because I mean if I hadn't seen the movie, and I was listening to Wally and Amazing, I probably would be in the like 6 category. Like, oh, this must have been a pretty good movie, but like, you level set like, hey, nah, my points were valid. So it's just like, that's why it's still terrible. It's a terrible movie. It's not a good movie. This is not a bad movie. This is a terrible movie, but it's not complete trash. So it's just like, I give them credit because I've actually went up by not half a point, but a whole point due to the special effects were still dope. I stand on that.
High five, Wally. Put your head down.
The special effects were dope.
You have to go down.
And there was a lot of things and a lot of hidden gems.
Oh, right.
Like the fact that she's a gold digger, Linka's a gold digger. The fact that like, a manipulator.
We'll try again later.
You got to climb to the top. And I wasn't a fan of like the whole thing. Like if you do drugs, you can see a spider but I don't
hallucinations, sir. Hallucinations.
Yeah, hallucination. I'm not a fan of like
and that's
drug
also
promotion.
A scary hallucination. I feel like would stop me if I did do drugs and that's what I saw. I feel like I would never do drugs again.
But I mean, he has such a level of deep introspection. Like this is like almost a promotion for drugs. So it's like I'm not a fan of that.
I know it's scary.
I can't stand by this movie.
Yeah, okay. You remember that? You remember the commercials when it was like don't
smoking the drugs and the dogs start talking,
and then the cigarettes were actually like the spider inside of it in the carton of cigarettes. Like when they show those campaigns, because I literally seen that, and I'm like, oh man, because that thing, the way it formed, I'm like, it was coming in out the nose. It's like, okay, I can't fit. So it's like it decided to come out the mouth. I'm like, and next thing you know, it's like, oh hell,
And that's why I'm giving it a whole point, because there was several like small subliminals, and like the whole promotion of drugs was a part of that. I'm not a fan of that, but the fact that I was able to like pull that out based off of the conversations from everybody in the group, that's why I raised it up a whole point. But yeah, it's a 2.5 for me.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to a 4. In between decent and bad, because it makes sense why it was this flat now. Except first, I couldn't get past that, but now it's just like the depression type stuff. So I didn't really care for like the regret component. Like I said, I wish like at the end he just wouldn't be like, you know what, I'm an astronaut, I'm making moves out here, bounce, you know. So I would have loved that like end to change a little bit. But other than that, it makes sense. So, all right, I'll go up a little bit. Still between a decent and bad movie, but it makes a little more sense now. So appreciate Wally and Amazing and Manic for bringing out some of them points. But all right, we'll go ahead and close this one out. Any parting words? Or go ahead, Amazing.
Y'all struggling.
No.
Y'all are both struggling.
The other way.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Y'all look.
There you go.
Okay, there
you go. Yeah, bro. Now she's on the other side.
Y'all messing this up. You're making this awkward.
I got no time. Yeah, there you go. Boom.
There y'all go.
Wally's leaving you hanging.
I'm like, I can't do the angle things. I got time.
But all right, we'll go ahead and close this one out. Any parting words from anybody? Any takes? I'll start with you, Man and Genius.
Nope.
All right, Amazing.
Never got nothing either.
Wally.
Okay.
Here's my one take. If you choose to watch this movie, follow my method. Watch this 2X. Please save your life.
I got one thing to say. Kids, don't do drugs.
Okay. Yeah, you watch this movie, you better get some coffee. You better watch this at like 12 in the afternoon. Have some no-dos ready, 2 Red Bulls. Because, yeah, this is hard.
Yeah.
But all right, we out of here. Peace.